Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday and happy post the Dodgers winning the World Series. I hope you're all happy about that. I call this meeting to order at 9 a.m. and we'll start with our land acknowledgement. Associated Students recognizes and acknowledges the first people of this ancestral and unceded territory of the Fernandano Totaviam Band of Mission Indians that is now occupied by our campus of California State University Northridge. Honors their elders, past and present, and the descendants who are citizens of the Fernandano Totaviam Band of Mission Indians. Associated Students recognizes that the tribe is still here and we are committed to lifting up their stories, culture, and community. Now moving on to roll call.
Vice President Emiliano Aragon.
Here.
Senator Abrams.
Here.
Senator Arias Gomez.
Here.
Senator Atias.
Here.
Senator Basilio.
Here.
Senator Cabrera Figueroa.
Here.
Senator Contreras.
Here.
Senator Cunanan.
Here.
Senator Dominguez.
Here.
Senator Garcia. Senator Gavino.
Here.
Senator Kachidia.
Here.
Senator Kodka.
Present.
Senator Mane. Senator Quiroga.
Here.
Senator Ramirez.
Here.
Senator Umana.
Here.
Senator Vicente. We have quorum.
Amazing, thank you. We will now move over to the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Dominguez?
I move to approve the agenda for November 3rd, 2025.
Thank you. Is there a second? Senator Umana, is there any discussion? Okay, if there are no objections, we will pass the agenda unanimously. Okay, amazing. Thank you. We will now move over to approval of the minutes. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Arias Gomez?
I move to approve of the minutes for October 27th, 2025.
Thank you. Is there a second? Senator Dominguez, is there any discussion? Okay, seeing and hearing none, if there are no objections, we will approve the minutes for October 27th unanimously. Okay, amazing. Thank you. We will now move over to special presentations. We will give Dr. Freddie Sanchez a bit of time, so we will start with CSUN Athletics with Carlos Jimenez Salgondado.
Hi, I'm Grace, and this is Haley, and we're from Women's Volleyball. I am a sophomore setter from Sacramento, California, and I'm studying childhood and adolescent development.
And I'm Haley Ogden. I'm a middle blocker / right side, and I'm a sophomore also from San Diego, California, and I'm studying business management.
We play this Wednesday at 6 against Bakersfield, and we'd love to have you guys there.
And we also are traveling to Hawaii this week for a short trip, so we're also excited for that and play them on Friday.
We are currently in 5th, and it's looking like we're going to be making postseason, so we'd love everyone's support while we close out our season. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carlos Jimenez Salgado, Associate Athletics Director for Marketing and Fan Engagement here at CSUN Athletics. For those that don't know me, I'm currently a grad student studying, getting my master's in business administration here for the College of Nazarian, College of Business and Economics. And unfortunately, our women's soccer team couldn't be here today, but I wanted to represent them on their behalf. So I just want to let you know we currently won the Big West regular season title this week. Thank you for that. So this is only the second time that we have ever done that in CSUN's history. The last time we did this was in 2016, so that is huge for us. So we currently play on Thursday at 7 p.m. and all students are free, so would love to have you all there and support us as well. And if we win on Thursday, we will play for the championship game on Sunday at 1 p.m. So hopefully we win on Thursday and we can have your support as well over there too. And then lastly but not least, we also have our basketball home openers today. Men's basketball we be playing today at 7 p.m. And then our women's basketball we will be playing at 6 p.m. tomorrow. And those that attended Mad or Madness, thank you so much. I hope you all had a great time there. So hopefully we continue getting your support at our events. So thank you so much.
Yay, thank you. We will now move over to our second special presentation, Identity-Based Resource Centers with Dr. Freddie Sanchez.
Good morning. Buenos dias. How are we doing? Yeah, I'm glad you all are still here. All right. So I was asked to come present on our Identity-Based Resource Center plan proposal. I should write this in. Actually, no, because it's not open. Dr. Melanie Bocanegra, who can't be here today, is the person who was responsible with me in implementing the identity centers. And so I wanted to make sure that we captured her contact information at the end as well. But Dr. Bocanegra serves as the Associate Vice President for Student Success. Who here knows Dr. Bocanegra? Just raise your hand. No. Okay. One person. So she works in academic affairs and is my colleague who is really implementing or helping me implement and spearhead this whole Identity-Based Resource Center project. Before we begin on the conversation, who here has heard of our Identity-Based Resource Center project? About half of you. Okay, so I'm glad that we're presenting to give you a little bit more insight. So I serve as the Associate Vice President for Student Affairs for Equity and Inclusion. And under me, I work in support of our DRESS office, or Disability Office, our NCOD office, all of our identity-based resource projects, our Black House, which you'll hear a little bit more of, and then our Center on Disabilities, amongst many other things on campus. But I'm excited to be here, and I wanted to start off, since only a few of you raised your hand, our timeline and where we've been, and I think I lost my voice from all the screaming on Friday, and so I'm still trying to recover. Anyways, this project has been ongoing since 2021, and frankly, even before then. But in 2021, we were asked to do an assessment on the campus, a research study on identifying whether or not this campus needed identity-based resource centers. The way we captured identity-based resource centers was it has a lot of terminology, but at the core, really identifying a space of work that supports equity-centered framing to better advance identity on this campus. So that's how we sort of functioned that. And in 2021, Dr. Maquita Gamich and I started conducting our study. Dr. Maquita Gamich at that point was a faculty member in Africana Studies, and together we did this project, and we attached a QR code in case you are interested in reading. It's 135 pages of in-depth analysis of truly understanding the campus. What we identified as part of our project, and it's in the report, but also we sort of went across in spring of 2022, socializing the report across the campus. We identified that this campus alone did not need identity-based resource center. We needed an infrastructure that really aligned to equity-centered thinking and intentional work around the campus to better support our students. Well, after the report, our president, in her welcome speech in the fall of 2022, charged Dr. Bocanegra and I to implement some of the findings of the study. And one of the findings was these identity-based resource centers. So we've been at this work implementing since 2022. This takes us to our third year. All right, next slide. So as part of the report, and the reason why I want to bring this up, we had 3 priorities that we enabled. we identified, as I shared, that we needed an equity infrastructure. This report, just to give you some context, came before our Road Ahead map, our map, our framing as an institution, our Road Ahead. It came before that. And what we identified is that a lot of the findings from this report were literally highlighted in our Road Ahead plan. And so we were able to align prior to the plan becoming, because we heard from our students, faculty, and staff. It was a really in-depth study that allowed us to engage with our campus community more fully on understanding how our staff, student, and faculty were feeling about being on campus, being a CSUN engaged individual. We understood that we had a lot of resources on this campus that were really equity rich, meaning that we were intentional with providing different types of support to students, but that the campus didn't really know about it. And I think you all hear that oftentimes. I wish I would have known as I'm graduating. I wish I would have known that as freshman year. So we were finding that as well. The last thing is that as we went through that, we wanted to promote an inclusive campus community, and we identified 3 different priorities. We should have 1, 2, and 3. I don't know why I printed it that way. But anyways, the first priority was establishing a mission statement that was rooted in equity, social justice, and inclusion. This came the roadmap. So the Road Ahead really, I think, spearheaded that and allowed us to do that. The next part of that was that we wanted to affirm and affirming spaces that were equity centered. And so that was that goal number 2, which is where I'm going to spend my time today, focusing on that number 2. The second priority that we highlighted as an institution is that we wanted to engage in what we called a wraparound support services for adult and reentry students, a first-generation student resource center, parent scholars resource center, and transfer resource center. We are not engaged in that project now, and so we will still continue to move project number 1 forward until we identify how do we move forward. But know that we do have a parents resource center that was launched right after this work, and it's really aligned with where we are. The last thing that we asked the institution to consider was a campus welcome center. It was our priority number 3, because if we think about more broadly as an institution, there's not a one place where someone can go and sort of land to ask questions. We're all over the campus. And so that was our priority number 3. We are focused on priority number 1 still and really trying to engage with that, which is where I spend my time today. Next slide. And so as I shared, the identity centers that came out of our conversation were these 5 ones that are here. A Black and Diaspora Resource Center. These are all placeholders, by the way, but it's targeting a population of our campus population that truly, when we think about equity, might be disproportionately impacted as an institution. So anyways, Black and Diaspora Resource Center, a Latino, Latinx, Latina Resource Center, a Native Resource Center, an Asian Pacific Islander, Desi American Center, which you will hear me talk about, APITA, and a Southwest Asian and North African Resource Center, and you'll hear me call SWANA. So those are the spaces that came out of the multitude of surveys, individual conversations with folks, with student organizations, and focus groups that we had with faculty and staff. And the next thing on the priority 1 was a Project Rebound Center. After this presentation, Project Rebound was able to conceptualize a space, and they're now there. And then enhancement of prayer, reflection, and meditation, and we've been working really closely with the USU. And identifying how to make that work in the current space. So that's all priority 1, and I'll spend the majority of my time talking about affirming and empowering educational spaces, aka our cultural centers. Next slide. All right. On this campus, we need to understand context. So currently on our campus, on the left side, we have our Black House, our Chicano House, La Casita, and the Glen Amato House. And I realized at the top, the headers were white, and so they didn't print when I printed this. Anyways, those are our cultural houses. Who here has been to any of the cultural houses? Okay, just a handful of you. Those are operated and ran by our ethnic studies colleagues in our colleges. The Black House is the only space that is not tied to our ethnic studies department. That's tied to the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences. But they have been here for a very long time, and we understand that those exist as physical structures on this campus that are really staples to this institution, what you'll hear me call the cultural houses. On the right-hand side is what we're proposing as the identity-based resource centers. And we use the term resource center because that's really what it is. Provides resources and support to students. But we, as part of the project that you all heard, the Black Resource Center, the Latino Resource Center, the Native Resource Center, the APITA Center, and the Southwest Asian North African Resource Center. On this campus, we also have in the USU additional projects. But in 2019, and I think it's really important for you all to understand, our students voted back then to have a referendum and passed a project called the New Heart of Campus. We are still implementing that project. The pandemic has happened, all kinds of things have happened. And so that project has been moving forward really slowly because of high inflation rates that really has impacted that project. Ultimately, as part of that referendum, there's the concept that our students voted for in there that's called the Rice Center. In it, we'll house the Pride Center, the Dream Center, the Veterans Resource Center, and the Women's Center. So those 4 physical entities that are scattered across the USU and in the west side of the campus would come together under one umbrella. That would be this new center called the Rice Center, and it was scheduled to be in the USU. So I share all these 3 concepts because I want to make sure that you all understand that there's 3 things that we're talking about: the cultural houses, the identity centers, and then the USU's project. All together will support our students in a more holistic, broad way. And so with that brings back what we heard repeatedly from our campus community, that if we had these identity-based resource centers, will the cultural houses become obsolete? And the answer is that it will not. The way we conceptualize the identity-based resource center, which is the left circle of this Venn diagram, was really to engage in a conversation across the campus about resource centers. And we were envisioning staffing structure that was full-time employees. Currently, at that point, the cultural houses had no staff. And so I want us to think about that. The cultural houses were ran by the ethnic identity spaces without staffing. They were seen as a facility to really provide support, but it was really on a support by the ethnic studies department into the cultural houses. Anyways, so our proposition is that it needed to have staffing in order for us to do this work. We needed to have in-house counseling that really supported the body of the work that we needed. Support from our advising colleagues so that our students can come into this space and be wrapped around with all these types of support, including data analysts that was supporting all of our campus identity centers to truly be equity centered. If there's a gap in attainment, how do we close that, and what are some parameters and things that we can be doing? And then faculty fellows across all disciplines at this institution. One of the things that we heard loud and clear from our students is that not every one of our students lives in our ethnic studies departments. They are across campus. And so we thought about these identity centers as being broad. In thinking of say, our Black African diaspora, and I want to use this as an example. This is the first resource center that we launched and piloted. And so we have, since 2022, been operating the Black House with 2 full-time employees, 5 to 8 student staff that are actively engaged in that space and actually have office hours and service from 9 in the morning to 6 o'clock in the evening every day, and actually additional hours in the evening when there's programming from our students and they want to use the physical space. Collectively, we would be able to provide strategic recruitment for this institution in collaboration with our Student Outreach and Recruitment Office, intentional advising in partnership with all of our academic advisors, faculty engagement and partnership. At the end of the day, we heard loud and clear from our students that they wanted faculty members and staff that look like them and be able to work with them as in a mentorship capacity. Engage with our alumni office to truly bring back our alumni into the conversation of supporting our students, career development and exploration in partnership with the Career Center, and then the Learning Resource Center with academic support. None of this would live in a vacuum. You heard me talk about partnerships because it's critical to the work. Although we might have it in the Resource Center, we know that and the way we are conceptualizing is that we hope that we support our students in that first year, whether it's a first-year transfer or first-year freshman, so that they have the capacity and the ability to network in the center and then be able to go back to the respective areas to be able to get support. Now, on the right-hand side of that circle is what we are conceptualizing for the cultural houses, and it's student leadership development. And so we want to make sure that we are providing the support and to develop our student leaders with culturally and relevant, meaningful programming, supporting the History Month programming, again, all student programs, supportive engagement for our students, and then family. One of the things that we heard loud and clear from our students is that they wanted to make sure that their family, and however broad of a definition family means to those individuals, is to engage back with people that are supporting our students. And intersectional programming with the centers that I mentioned from the USU. Collectively, as a group, we will increase sense of belonging for our students, develop intentional partnerships, and significant mentorship responsibilities and connections across the campus, because we know that mentorship works to retain our students. Two different things. However, what we wanted to do to make sure that we launched this space was to provide all of this in the Black House. And so in the next slide, I will share with you what we started doing in 22-24. And again, I'm focusing on the Black House because that's the current one that's operational. But we started implementing, we hired 2 individuals. We created on-campus and off-campus partnerships, specifically with the Career Center. We have our students who are employed by the Career Center, but doing work in the Black House to really support the career leadership development of our students. And the LRC comes over to provide tutoring. Those are 2 things that are part of that circle on the left that I wanted to mention. But we also launched the Black Matador Excellence Experience Program, which is a summer program of our admitted students. And this is the 2nd year that we house them. We had about 70 students this past year. That number might be a little bit high, but I think it was 50. But ultimately, these are the students that we're hoping to engage through U100, our Black Excellence course, and moving forward. If you can imagine this sort of concept with the other identity centers, this gives you a broad sort of overview of how we started piloting this in the Black House. What I share in the right column is critical. The identity centers do something, but as an institution, if we're not providing alignment back to our road ahead and our map as an institution, then we're doing a disservice to the students. And so we were able to align with the road ahead. We were able to align with our Black Student Success Initiative. And last year, we provided a report to the institution of Black Student Success. Who here has seen the Black Student Success Report? Okay, there's 2 of you. We will share it over to Cura so that it can be shared with you all. But ultimately, as an institution, we had to do a deep dive and understand how can we do better for our Black students. This is a type of engagement that we're hoping that we continue to move forward with our other identity spaces to really engage with the populations that we're going to be serving, which at the end of the day is our holistic student support. The last thing that I share here is that the CSU asked us to conduct an in-depth study on how we were supporting Black students. We were fortunate enough that we started that work years before. And so when this ask from the CSU came over to us, we had already done a lot of the work, and it was easy for us to do that, moving us forward. Who here has heard of the California Black Serving Institution designation for the state of California? There's 3 of you. Well, we haven't heard back, but I want to share with you all that we submitted our application to say that CSUN is a Black Serving Institution. We should be hearing back shortly whether or not we were designated as one of, I don't know how many applications were submitted, but we are one of 3 CSUs that moved forward an application, one of 3 CSUs out of the 22 that are committed to the work of Black student success. And so I want to just share that this doesn't get done by itself. It gets done with previous leadership. It gets done with faculty and staff across the system and across our campus that really understands how to do this work in such a way that it can be sustainable. And so this model is what we're asking it to be sustained. And so with that, I advance to where we were this past year. Next slide. I should have started with, there's a lot of information here. I'll ask for questions at the end if y'all can just jot them down. So last year, one of the things that we wanted to do was to actually go back to the cultural houses. If you haven't been, they needed some work. And so the provost at the time gave us $1.2 million to allow us to refresh all the cultural houses. And so we were able to go to all the cultural houses, and you can't see the imagery, but you have the PowerPoint and you probably will get it later. But we were able to go in there and actually do a lot of work to bring them up to a standard that we were proud of. And so when you go, and I'm asking all of you to go, you will see in the Black House, we actually did a whole backyard renovation project. So if you go to the backyard, that wasn't there 2 years ago. And so I want you to think about the investment that this institution is doing for our students, and we will continue to move us forward. Now, who here has heard of the Matador Success and Inclusion Center? a handful of you. The construction fence that's behind the Soul Center, on that side, you will be seeing a new building. If you scan the QR code on the left, that will take you to the website of the Matador Success and Inclusion Center. It is a 3-story building. On the first floor, it will house our Identity-Based Resource Center. And so we're excited that the Identity Resource Center, from its conceptual phases back in 2022 when we were conceptualizing that to where it's now, it's actually moving forward. And the building is scheduled to open in 2027. So we're excited for that. In the next few slides, I share with you what the identity centers are going to look like, just so that you have a good sense. Next slide. So this is the view of where it's gonna be. That is our design from our construction team. The building will be right on the corner across from the Autodesk Technology Center. So if you think about this at a campus, we're gonna be popping, y'all. This is where student engagement will happen. We will be having the identity centers on this side. On the second floor of that new facility, we have the Matador Achievement Center. So you just heard from athletics. All of our athletes have their own advising and coaching and tutoring space. They will now be in that building with what we're calling CHIP. And I usually get this wrong, but I'm gonna try. The Community Engagement Hub, ultimately what it is. We have undergraduate research in that space. We have our health and community engagement office in that space. So we're gonna have a lot of student-centered spaces in that second floor. And on the third floor, we have all of our athletic coaches. Currently, they're scattered all across campus, but now we will be in one facility all on the 3 floors. On that first floor, we have the identity centers and what we're calling our ethnic studies center on race. Those 2 spaces will be on that first floor. And I share with you because those are the engagement opportunities that we want you all to have. Again, if you go to that QR code, you see the full-blown plans of the space so that you can start socializing that. For those of you who are going to be here in 2027, we're anticipating that you come to the opening of this space so that you can engage with the resources that are there. Next slide. This is what the identity centers, and I'll give you a framing because you can't really see it, but what it's gonna look like. You see that the majority of the footprint is in the middle. Our students, we heard them loud and clear as we were engaging with them early on, that they wanted spaces that were together but separate. Together for intercultural engagement. So we took that concept and we ran it by the students, and the majority of the space in the middle is engagement opportunities. So we are anticipating that our students are coming into the middle and engaging and then visit the individual identity spaces when they need to. So if they feel that they need to engage in a particular engagement office, then they will do that. What you'll notice is that we did not block off, and you'll see them as you go through this through your own learning. We didn't create walls amongst these spaces. So it really is going to allow our students to engage cross-culturally because that is a space that they wanted to do. When we went out and sought consultation through the way we did this bid, we asked architects to come back and identify if there was an opportunity for an additional space. So currently we have a resource center that is unidentified because we knew that what was happening in 2021 is not what's happening now and probably what's not going to happen in a few years. And so we have an unidentified space, and Dr. Melanie Bocanegra and I are going to conduct in-depth studies again to identify if there's a resource center that wasn't conceptualized to be part of this facility. We have Zoom rooms on the right-hand side. We have individual spaces, conference rooms. And in the facility, we have multi-level sort of conference rooms across the facility, just so that we can engage with our students more broadly. But ultimately, all of this, again, to not substitute for the cultural houses, because the cultural houses will have a purpose. You'll see that if you go to other campuses, a lot of the cultural centers have built-in lounges in them. We purposefully did not put built-in lounges into these cultural centers because we want to make sure that our students are still going to the cultural houses to be able to get that level of support. All right, next slide, and then I'll toss it over for questions. I can't see that far, but I brought my presentation. Right now, we are in 25-26, and I wanted to share with you that we successfully launched the APITA Center Senior Coordinator position. So if you go on to the website, that position was launched. We're currently under recruitment. I will also want to share that we also launched the Latino Resource Center Senior Coordinator role, and it's currently under recruitment. So those 2 roles will now move forward. we are going to be piloting what we did with the Black House and the Black Resource Center. The Tlenomato House will house the Apita Resource Center. The cultural La Casita, not La Casita, the Chicano House will house our Latino Resource Center to do exactly what you saw in the Venn diagrams. That's exactly what we're going to be piloting. But we couldn't pilot unless we had staff, and now we're hiring those 2 individuals. If all is successful in the spring, which is our plan, we're going to hire the second full-time employee, which will be a programs coordinator for both of the spaces. So we'll have a senior coordinator really conceptualizing longer vision with me and with Dr. Bocanegra, and then the programs coordinator really focusing on the programs to engage with our students. This is historical, y'all. We've never had this on this campus. And so again, from previous leadership 5-6 years ago to now, we are making things, it takes forever, but we're making work because the commitment is there from this institution, while others in the country are facing negativity around culture. We're moving forward, and I want to make sure that you all continue to understand that this institution and the CSU as a whole is committed to this work, and so we're moving along. Now, one of the things that we want to share is that we want to make sure that we're aligned. Just like you saw that we are working as a campus with our Black Student Success Initiative and doing the Black House Dinner, we're doing the same thing for these other groups. So for the Apita Center, know that we submitted a grant to the CSU, and we were awarded $1.5 million over the next 5 years to do Asian American studies, Asian American programming, which you'll hear a lot moving forward, called ASAP. So the Asian American, the ANAPI Student Achievement Program is what that award is called. But we got the money to be able to build support. For the Latino Resource Center, as an institution, we're really critically navigating how do we best support Latino students while serving all, which has been the framing of really understanding our Seal of Excellencia designation. What does it mean to be a SEAL certified institution that supports our Latino students while serving all? And so we are understanding that, yes, we have to be critical that we have equity gaps on this campus. Our Black students and our Latino students are the most impacted. So how do we become intentional while doing that intentional work and serving all students? Because at the end of the day, we know that when we serve our most disproportionately impacted, we're serving students because we're thinking critically. Anyways, I say all that to say that we are moving forward. We're excited. I didn't want to lose my voice, so you probably can't hear my excitement, but I am excited to be able to do this work with our colleagues and across divisions. This is not a project of the Division of Student Affairs. Yes, it's housed with me, but you saw Dr. Bocanegra's name because it's also partnered with Academic Affairs. We can't do this work in silos, y'all. And so we need our students, you all, when you go back to your constituents, to be able to come back to us and continue to give us feedback because this work is ongoing. All right. Do I have time for questions? If not, you can find me. Oh, that's a picture of that current site, by the way. So if you go onto the website, there's a live webcam. That's what it looked like about an hour ago. So the construction is going, y'all. We're excited. Now, my email is on the next slide in case you need to get a hold of me to provide some feedback. But you'll see that. I do want to publicly thank, yes, and Caesar, and there's about 4 or 5 of you that have really been instrumental to this work. And so with the work of Senator Basilio, I know Kimberly, sorry, but Senator Basilio's work has been instrumental to help us launch the Latino Resource Center. They started engaging with us last spring to try to make sure that we moved the project, and I think I've had like 6 different meetings with them to try to make sure that we moved and we launched the project. So we're excited. All right, y'all. Thank you for your time.
Yay, amazing. Thank you. I just want to start off by saying this is such an amazing project, and I commend you and every single other person that has put so much thought and love into this project. And I'm so sure that it's going to benefit so many students even after many of us leave. So I just want to say thank you for all of the work and all of the countless meetings that you guys have had to go through in order to make sure that this happens and this is gonna come to our campus. So I just want to say thank you. I'm gonna open it up for questions from the board. Senator Gavino.
Thank you for presenting today, Dr. Sanchez. You mentioned a Project Rebound Center.
Mhm.
Are there any plans to incorporate that into the Matador Inclusion Center space?
No, not right now. They have a space in Sierra Hall, and I think based on what we've heard, they had conceptualized that space to be what they need now. So it's staying there.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Senator Cabrera Figueroa.
Yes, thank you for that wonderful presentation. I wanted to ask, since this is an equity-based program, as a first generation and a transfer student, how would those two centers look different from each other in terms of equitable resources and what they're offering?
Good. So the reason why we did not include what we're envisioning for the others is because we're working with our students, faculty, and staff to understand how to conceptualize. So for our Black community, it was important for us to really solidify the culture of that experience and build our student organizations. The pandemic did a number on our students, and we started building leadership development in that space. I think we now are up to where we were right before the pandemic. So that was the focus then. For our other spaces, it's going to be specifically to those populations. In the image, the yellow image with all the boxes, you'll notice that the Latino Resource Center has more offices than the others because it's just a sheer number of our students on this campus. And so we know that we needed more services. And so that's how we're really going to do that. Some of the other spaces, aside from the physical spaces of them, some of them have more room than others. It's what is exactly is needed. We know that we're going to do in-depth analysis on where our students are struggling the most academically. Are there specific opportunities for them to partner with some of these individual classes? If I didn't share, but in one of the slides, it actually talked about the ongoing partnership with both. We are creating U100 classes for our APITA space and our Latino space because we know that writing is an opportunity there. And so we're going to hone in on that. So there's some components that we're going to be doing. It's going to be super intentional because that's the only way to do equity work. Not everyone gets the same thing, which is exactly what this is.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Senator Gavino and then Senator Basilio. Senator Basilio, you may go first.
Hello, Dr. Sanchez. Not really a question just because I know we've been talking about it, but the identity-based resource centers that'll be housed like this side will be mostly for like individual needs, as I understood throughout this whole thing. And then our cultural houses will be the areas that student clubs can use. That's still the plan, right?
That is a plan. Yep.
Okay, Senator Gavino.
No, I think it's fantastic that the Chicano House will finally be getting a full-time staff member. That's for the Latinx Resource Center pilot. Just wondering, you had the Venn diagram out there of the separate kind of goals of both of these spaces. Will the coordinator for the pilot Latinx Resource Center be tackling both of those goals in their time in the Chicano House? And then once they're moved into the new facility, what is support for the Chicano House going to look like after that?
Great question. So yes, when we hire the APITA Resource Center, so it's both APITA Resource Center and the Latino Resource Center, they will be doing both of Venn diagrams, which is why we wanted to hire the programs coordinator immediately right after. So that will hopefully develop that. What will happen in the culture houses, we're still working through budget. All of this is a significant budget impact. So we are going to be working through that. Whether we'll have two staff members, whether one stays in the culture house and one moves, that could be a thing. We need to create synergy, but we're still working through those plans.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Senator Cabrera Figueroa.
Yeah, will there be any student employment opportunities in the new Matador Involvement Center?
So yes, we can't do this work just with the full-time employees. I was telling Senator Basilio that we will be hiring the students to be able to run these spaces. So yes, we will be hiring students. And there's actually more opportunity that will be coming in partnership with the Career Center, in partnership with the LRC. So we're going to be doing not just staffing of the cultural houses and the programming. It's going to be all the partnerships that will be created. What I did not mention, there are two other centers in there that we didn't talk about because they're in the plan for 26, 27. But we started the conversation about the SWANA space with our Middle Eastern Studies program about a month ago. And we started conversations with our American Indian Studies program to help us conceptualize what the Native Resource Center. Naming is a thing, and so I just want to make sure that I capture it correctly. The Native Resource Center, we started speaking with them last month because our Native students, to your question, is a lot smaller. The needs are different. And so we started having conversations on what that would look like.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Vice President Geminiano Aragon.
Hi, Dr. Freddy. My main question is when sometimes we bring this up to the conversation with the other CSU leaders, a lot of them ask us about the budget and how we were able to get it. So I was wondering if you could elaborate a little bit on that, just because our main worry right now is with the federal scenario right now and how it's looking like, is there any worry from your part to maintain that budget once it opens and to keep offering those resources to students?
Yes, so the budget is a conversation here as well. We are trying to figure out exactly how to make sure that we finance this. Know that this is a priority for this institution. And so when there's a priority and it's actually embedded in the plan, we need to find budget. And so do we do things differently? Are there things that need to be sunsetted to be able to get this work done? We were able to, fortunately, to be able to use campus quality fee for some of them, be able to work with our colleagues in academic affairs, and the provost has financed some of it. Our foundation office has sponsored a lot of it. And so, yes, it's coming from a lot of places. The conversation about budget is going to continue to be a conversation, but this also might mean that when you're this intentional, there's pilots that are happening all across the campus. Can we streamline and synergy it to one location, which is what we're likely going to be doing. Lots of.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the board? Senator Cabrera Figueroa.
One other question after this one. Oh, why it's raining. I wanted to ask, kind of on the same note, using the Black House as an example, with these new services that are listed or adjusted as based on the Venn diagram, off current predictions, will their existing budget remain the same and still be fully usable, or will they need supplemental increases in funding?
You know, things have gotten more expensive, so I will likely estimate that budget will continue to increase. Request for budget will continue to increase, whether the funding are there or not. Still yet to be determined. But what we'll know and what you'll know is that if we hire staff, they will continue to be hired and continue to do the work. Programming and the like, there's a lot of partnerships happening. AS is a huge partner to the project. You all were able to sponsor $5,000 last year for each of the cultural houses. And so that money is your donation. So I think we're going to get a lot of that. I mean, I think at the end of the day, we had a vision, that our vision is now coming into fruition. And we really have to think about, as an institution, where do we get all the money to be able to do this and do it well? We want to make sure that we start something and it's sustained into a practice that really is for years to come. And who knows, in 10 years, we might be having a different conversation. Just like we're having a conversation that was different 2 years ago and right before the pandemic as well.
Go ahead.
Thank you for your answer. Yes, and then will any resources or training be provided to faculty or staff to echo the efforts of this center? I just ask this because considering the support that this will be for personalized students and also their academic careers, and I know that a similar request was made involving Project Rebound, having educational support for faculty in regards to having those students in the classroom. Is there any objective at the moment, aside from the U100, to ensure that for faculty?
Yes, so I'm glad you brought that up. One of the partners that it wasn't listed there, but it's like, I think it was in the Venn diagram, training is a part of this. Not that the resource center will do the training, but there will be partnership with faculty development to be able to get training done. I'll give you this example. We're working, our disability office is working with faculty development to develop training around students with disabilities. Same sort of concept. The Pride Center working with faculty development to train on what it means to serve our LGBTQ expansive students. So sort of same framing.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions? Okay, if any of you guys are interested in the PowerPoint, I'm more than happy to send it out. If any of you guys would like to look at it further.
Thank you, y'all.
Other than that, thank you so much, Dr. Freddy. Yay, okay, we will now move into open forum. Open forum is intended as an opportunity for any member of the public to address the Associated Student Senate regarding any issues affecting CSUN students. Speakers are allowed 3 minutes each to speak. Please sign in using the clipboard for minute recording purposes.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you guys are having an amazing Monday. Just to introduce myself, my name is Sheen Gupta. I'm the uh, outreach and recruitment chair here at AS. I would like to formally introduce the potential members for the Outreach and Recruitment Committee. This committee plays a vital role in strengthening the bridge between associated students and our campus community. We work to engage with students, uplift voices, and to ensure that each Matador feels seen and supported. Each of these individuals that you will be hearing from today genuinely have a passion for student advocacy, community building, and to expand the reach of our organization. They have such a unique and diverse story that motivates them to contribute to the success of our organization, and I'm confident with their ability to support the goals of this committee and to contribute to the meaningful of our outreach efforts here at AS. At this time, I would like to pass it on to them to introduce themselves. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of you guys. And just as she mentioned, I want to give a brief introduction of who I am and why I'm here. So my name is George Radianov. I am a senior here majoring in honors biology. And on a more personal note, I am a first-generation college student with parents immigrating out of Ukraine after the collapse of the Soviet Union. And if I were to describe my interests on campus, it's of interest in the sciences and as a major in biology, and another of effective communication. And the reason I say effective communication is because I've interacted with many students, faculty, and mentors who had those that I respected, who had a key characteristics of articulating themselves concisely. And inspired by this, that kind of shaped what my experiences here led to, starting with as a freshman, joining Associated Students as a vice chair of Lobby Corps, segueing into Model United Nations, the team here at CSUN, the speech and debate team, and supplemental instruction for writing here at CSUN. And then I also mentioned briefly about the sciences, just to explain that career field. I was selected for the CSUN UCLA stem cell therapy program, where I spent a year studying muscle stem cell biology and regenerative medicine at CSUN. And the reason I kind of mention all of these experiences is because I believe they were all grounded in advocacy, whether that is to advocate for your research about muscle degeneration or about arguing in the classroom. All of these were grounded in advocacy. And as an outreach and committee in this position, I hope to advocate for student issues and to elucidate the wealth of student resource or the wealth of resources here on campus that empower students. And thank you, and I look forward to the prospect of working with all of you.
Good morning, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be in front of you all today on this chilly but nice day. My name is Isabella Guerra. I am a first-year student majoring in public health, aspiring to enter into the medical field as a nurse. So a little bit about me. Um, some things I'm really passionate about aligning with my interest is I am really passionate about advocating and promoting mental health. It is something that I think is very important, especially in like college life, and it is something that should be talked about more. Something I would do proactively is teaching coping skills to those around me and just really helping those who really don't understand that mental health is something that should be prioritized. Um, as a first year student, I am not. I'm still learning the resources here on campus, and something that I've newly been introduced to was the CSUN Ambassadors Program, which I am a new member, which is amazing, and it has helped me to become it has helped me to see the other opportunities here on campus that I'm very excited to to try out for and to really go out for. Um, a little bit of experience from my high school life is I was president of the Diversity in Healthcare initiative, which basically we brought in speakers of different professions. We had brought in an anesthesiologist, nurse, orthopedic surgeon to talk to the students here on our campus to inform them and to see if that was something that interested them. And I was also the president of the Spanish Honor Society, which gave me experience in leading a club and talking with my team so that we can bring those cultural resources to our campus. I was in the Associated Student Body at my high school for about 2 years. I was an active member, participating in the cabinet, and as a senior representative, I worked closely with administration to plan events such as prom, working with coordinators, and being in a great deal of communication with those around me who to really talk to them and create an event in a space for the student body, gathering their understanding where they are coming from and what they would like to see, and just giving that to them, as well as talking to them about fundraisers because we all want these things, but we need money for them. So what we did was I talked to the student body, asked them what they would like as, something that we can do for the senior class to give back to our larger community, and discussed with them that we do need fundraisers and appreciated their support. So I was being an ambassador. I wanted to be an ambassador because I saw how important it was to be on this campus and how important it was to be involved on this campus. And that was the first step for me. And then after that, it opened a world of opportunities into here I am today in front of you guys. I think it's really important to be involved on campus and to really show to be an active member, because you can be a CSUN student, but to be an active member is really important. It can open a world of opportunities outside of the CSUN community. And I think that it's such a great way to be with those who share those same mentality as me and as, working as a team. And during this time, I'm a big communicator. That is something I am proud of and I prioritize. It is something that I've seen is really needed, and for a team to work, communication is essential. So that is something that I would like to say that I'm very proud of and bringing to a team. So thank you so much for the time here today, and I hope that everything, goes well for you guys. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Sean Cipriano. My pronouns are he, him, and I am a first-year CSUN student majoring in kinesiology. As a student majoring in kinesiology, I am passionate in community engagement and helping others meet their goal, especially interested in how AS brings student community at CSUN together. As a first year student, coming into CSUN, I wasn't so sure that I would find my own community. Being able to meet people with like-minded ideas or to even feel comfortable to call this place my home. But so far, moving forward, I am proud to say that with all the efforts that I see on campus, with all the events that are currently being made, each day I feel more welcomed and even then want to be spreading more of that positivity to anyone who does not feel a belong yet. Currently, I am involved in a fraternity organization called Lambda Chi Alpha on campus, where I have been able to participate in active philanthropy, intramural sport teams, and social gatherings. And as a new student to CSUN, I was inspired to apply for the position within AS, since through the outreach and recruitment committee, I saw how important it is to help students connect with campus opportunities to find where they belong. My goal is to encourage more student involvement while also collaborating on ideas that bring different organizations together to strengthen our current campus community and life. Moving forward to the future, I am most looking forward to working with other student leaders and helping create a stronger sense of unity at CSUN. Thank you everyone for having me.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, first of all, and thank you so much for giving me a chance to talk in front of you. My name is Smriti Patel, and I am a sophomore majoring in business analytics. Um, when I first came to CSUN, I saw a lot of opportunities here, but I also noticed that a lot of students, especially commuters and international students like me, didn't feel connected to those opportunities that really that really motivated me to join the AS so that I can help them and feel more connected them to these opportunities. Apart from this, I am engaged on CSUN. Like, I'm a member of Delta Sigma Pi, a business professional fraternity, and I'm also working a peer ambassador on CSUN. And under the Department of Health Sciences, I was also working for the Office of Undergrad for summer research assistant. And I was also a ChatGPT student ambassador representing CSUN all over the CSU. And lastly, I used to also work as a marketing for a company. And all these experiences have made me understand that leadership is nothing but communication, understanding, and collaborating with others, understanding what your audience wants. I want to help students to feel more safe, engaged, and connected with CSUN. For me, CSUN isn't just a campus, it's a community, and I want to make a strong impact on students and help them feel more connected to the campus. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here for open forum? Hello, James. Yay.
It's so far. Like I'm walking into the lion's den. Good morning, everybody. For those of you that do not know, my name is James Forster. I serve as the AS Programs Manager, and I'm here to give you all your weekly update on our events that are happening this week. So we have 2 events that are going on this week, taking a little bit of break from our normal 3 events a week programming. Tomorrow we'll have our normal farmers market out in Matador Square / Lindley Avenue. We'll be there. The market will be going on from 10 to 2:30 with our normal vendors. Also in the square tomorrow, we'll be hosting our annual big party event. Tomorrow is November 4th, which is the election day for, I think, at least California. I don't know if it's US, it might be, I'm not sure. The big party is an acronym. It stands for Political Awareness, Registration, Turnout, and Youthquake. Yeah, we were really struggling to find the word with the Y.
but Youthquake is a word to describe the young turnout of voters at the polls. So we went with it. But anyway, we'll be giving away lots of cool t-shirts. We'll have some fun games, some other prizes, all in the name of just hopefully getting people to be aware of what is happening and to get their political engagement going for the most part. And then on Thursday, we'll have our Thursday Thrift program. That'll be from 10 to 2 on Baramian Lawn. And that's all I got for you all this week. Thank you all.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here for open forum? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to reports, starting with mine. Hello, everyone. I hope you all had an amazing Halloween weekend. I know I did. I saw the Seahawks win 30-10. I'm so happy. So starting off, I had one-on-ones with three of my cabinet members. I had one with our chair of elections. I had one with our chair of legislative affairs. I had one with our chief of staff. I'm still trying to find more times to be able to meet with the rest of my cabinet members just to see how everyone was doing. I also met with our chair of finance and our assistant chair of finance. Everyone's doing amazing work, so I'm very, very excited for the rest of the semester and the rest of the year. I had a meeting with the student organization, Students for Quality Education, and I got some updates on the work that they were doing. I did attend the police advisory committee. I do have a few updates, so this is going to be a little lengthy, so I apologize. We got a few small updates of the CSUN Safe app that weren't included in our presentation. One of them was that the CSUN Safe app, although it's called the CSUN Safe app, it is usable outside of CSUN. So if you guys were somewhere else in the San Fernando Valley and you guys needed to find resources or needed to find a way to communicate with first responders, the app will connect you with local resources wherever you are because it connects to your location. I did not know that, so I thought it would be fun to share that. It also gives you the ability to text 911 or text 911. So sorry. And it'll have a section called student support resources, and it'll promote certain resources around campus. There was no specifics. It will also give a campus overview and a link to the Metrolink shuttle routes, as well as what time the shuttles are arriving. So I thought that was an interesting update as well. Some updates from the chief of police. He has informed our police advisory committee that for October 7th, it wasn't just one student that was arrested, it was three. One was on the day of, and two others were after October 7th, following an investigation. For anyone that was curious about what the cases were, one case involved a student who stole property from an off-campus individual. One of the students that was arrested after October 7th was an attempt of vandalization and resisting arrest, which then led to an injury of an officer. And then the last one was for injuring an officer. So those are the updates that I got from the chief of police. I also did receive confirmation that if any of you guys saw unmarked vehicles on campus that were mistaken for ICE, those were LAPD vans and LAPD vehicles. According to our chief of police, they were not aware that any unmarked vehicles would be on our campus. So they're trying to figure out how they can restrict LAPD from coming to our campus with unmarked vehicles because of the fear that provoked on our campus. So they want to try to, if they need extra LAPD support, they want to make sure that they come in vehicles that are noticeable, that you don't mistaken it for a federal vehicle, you don't mistaken it for an ICE vehicle. So that is something that I will hopefully get an update on later on. For the personnel board, we approved two sport club coaches. I unfortunately had to reschedule my Cats Mural project meeting, but it's okay. And then we had a meeting regarding our present VP town hall. We're going to change the name to, I believe it was Matador Connections. And it will now be a collaboration with our DI committee as well. As many of you guys know, we did invite you all to be part of these conversations, kind of just being able to talk to all of our constituents and have an opportunity to chat about anything that you guys think they might be interested in or anything that they have concerns about. We'll have a section for our DEI committee to also be able to um, get any information in regards to what our students need and how they feel our campus is doing with their DEI initiatives and any fears that they have regarding the federal cuts to our DEI, any DEI initiatives around the country. So if any of you guys are interested in, or any of our chairs, if any of our chairs are interested in also having their committee have an opportunity to be part of this town hall, you guys are more than welcome to let us know. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that attended the AS Leadership Mixer. It was an amazing opportunity to be able to connect with our season admin, and I was so nice to see you all there. It's one of my favorite events because I get to not only meet season admin, but I also get to connect with all of you guys a lot more. Looking on to this week, Vice President Geminiano Aragon and I have a meeting with President Beck and Dr. Watkins at 11. Because this meeting has to end at 11. My apologies. The USU will be meeting today. We will also be having our TSU Board of Directors meeting. This CSUN Alumni Giving Day Planning Committee Faculty Senate is this Thursday. The Academic Technology Committee is this Friday. And CSSA's November plenary is on the 8th, which is this Saturday. But that is about it. Are there any questions on my report? Senator Basilio.
Not really a question, but it was actually the LA County Sheriff's Department. So yeah.
My apologies.
It's okay.
I'm so
Just-
sorry.
It's chill.
I could not tell you the difference between them. I'm so sorry. Senator Diaz Gomez.
In terms of like the updates that you said for if ICE were to be on campus or if anything like that happens, is there a way that we can get a possible live update on like when vehicles do get on campus and we're notified of it?
As of right now, in regards to the Season Safe app, there is no confirmation that that's going to be put into it. I do know that Senator Gavino had a question in regards to SB 98 being implemented into the Season Safe app, but there hasn't been an update that was given to us as of Thursday. Vice President Emiliano. Senator Cabrera Figueroa.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to that note. So it was mentioned that the Season Safe app will have a feed at the top. However, this feed will only be connected to the formerly Twitter, now X feed that the school publishes in regards to safety announcements on campus. So that's something we can definitely bring up the next meeting, but at the moment, there is no specific information on that.
I was also able to talk a little bit with Dr. Watkins about how SB 98 will look like implemented on our campus. He did mention that they just got an update on how that will be implemented CSU wide too. So I think everything is just in the talks right now. I asked him if there could be any way of communicating to students whether there is not ICE on campus. So for instance, during October 7, a lot of media of communications were spreading around the rumors of ICE on campus. So I was asking him if there could be a possible way of mainstreaming the communication of being like there's no ICE on campus. However, he did say that the communication will only be when ICE is on campus.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Oh, Senator Cabrera Figueroa.
Yes, just in regards to the police advisory committee, I don't know why it just left me. As all right, I will Oh, I thank you. I apologize. I remember. So there was some contention regarding student views about what had occurred on that day and conflicting statements. What would be the best course of action for students to submit what information they have, be it recorded or videos from the event?
I do remember that this was a question that we did ask during the police advisory committee, and for any of you guys that were curious about the response, the chief of police did let us know that there is an anonymous form that can be submitted by any student that has a concern in how the police might have reacted or might have done any of their duties. Um, we weren't given much outside of just the form, but if you guys are interested in exploring a having some way for us to be able to kind of see what are happening with those complaints, that's definitely something that can be explored, and we can definitely talk about maybe in like University Affairs Committee or maybe just on the side. But unfortunately, that is the only form of like complaints that I've ever heard of. And that's all we were given from the chief of police. Are there any other questions? Senator Dominguez.
Point of personal privilege.
Granted. Okay. Oh, Senator Cachadilla.
Permission to be recognized.
Oh, granted. If there are no other questions, we will move over to our Vice President Geminiano Aragon's report.
Thank you, President Saravia. Good morning, everyone. I hope that everyone is fine, that y'all have a great and safe weekend. So for my report, President Saravia and I had the opportunity to attend the Distinguished Alumni Awards. That was on Saturday, the 25th. Great opportunity for networking with a lot of student leaders from athletes and USU BOD. During Monday, I had the October Mental Health Monday. It was so much, I had a lot of fun being there. We gave out the shirts. Well, we also had the bracelet making activity, and we also had a lot of people tabling. So we had the Universally Counseling Services, we had the Oasis Wellness Center, and we had the Blues Project, and we had the Tea Heaven Project. So we're looking into bringing back these resources for the last Mental Health Monday, and the theme is still to be determined. However, I'm also meeting with the RHA president, Christian Loza, to try to make another Mental Health Monday, but now, well, not Monday, a Mental Health Day at housing. So we're looking into that right now. Hopefully it will be in the middle of November, and then we'll move a little bit later our Mental Health Monday for December. I also had a one-on-one with Celine Valenzuela, who is part of the IT department, to touch base on the workshops, on the AI workshops that will be given to students. So hopefully during close to the last AS Senate meetings, I will be giving an presentation on what that AI workshop will look like. And then I would really appreciate if you all can provide me feedback so that way I can implement that when I give that to students. If anyone is interested in helping me with those AI workshops, let me know, and I can get you onboarded with that presentation. We also had our personnel board meeting. I had interviews for the Arts, Media, and Communications Senator. And let's see. We had our meeting to discuss with our town hall, and I also attended the HSI Innovation Hub open house. So I had the opportunity to see what the resources over there will look like, and also what the technological services they provide. That was very interesting, and I'm definitely looking forward to how students will benefit from it. For this week, I will say that President Saravia and I might leave on Wednesday for a conference, so we might not be able to be here for Thursday and Friday. So in case that you need anything in person with us, please reach out to us so that we can take care of that either today, Tuesday, or maybe possibly Wednesday. However, the rest of the week we will be remote. Okay, so that's it for me. Today I'll have my USU BOD meeting. And if you have any other question, please let me know.
Yay. Are there any questions on the Vice President's report? Senator Diaz-Gomez?
Point of personal privilege.
Granted. For anyone that's interested, the conference that Vice President Geminiano Aragon and I might be attending is the ACUI conference. And it is an opportunity for us to kind of learn more about like the student unions and student organizations and how universities, both public, private, both CSU, UCs, and community colleges, how they serve their students. And if for any of you guys that didn't know, our Chair of Legislative Affairs, Cesar Rosales, will be presenting on the Dream Center Fellowship Program that AS was able to contribute some money to for the entirety of the program as long as it exists. And he will be presenting on the entire thing at this conference. And I think it's a great opportunity for us to not only show our support for the USU, but also for our chair. So if any of you guys are interested in the presentation, please let us know.
Going back into my report, if you still do not have a space reservation for your event, before I leave, we need to touch base on what to do to move forward with your event, as we're reaching up to a point where it's going to be difficult to reserve space. Also, if you did not submit your marketing request, also let me know so that I can guide you through what the procedure is to get the town hall proposal template. That way you don't have to submit any reports. You just update the information that you need. Okay? Thank you.
Are there any questions? Senator Dominguez,
Permission to be recognized.
granted. Are there any other questions? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to our Chief of Staff, Bo Burke's report.
Hello, everybody. Hope we're having a wonderful morning. So last week we added one more person to our cabinet with our new Attorney General who's here today. So I met with him one-on-one to train him and just go over general duties and expectations. After that, I also had a one-on-one with him and the Vice President where we further went over any of his code, all of his code and just general expectations. I'm excited to see how he does, but we're off to a good start for sure. This week I also had my one-on-one with the president where we discussed several key parts of my position. I hope to continue to grow and improve my leadership. I was also able to assist the vice president with his Mental Health Monday event, where we gave out t-shirts and shared a lot of the mental health resources that we have on campus. I also attended Senator Cabrera Figueroa's Senate event, where I was able to learn about the many minors that are available within my own college, which is the best college, of course, the behavioral science. And then I also went to the president's leadership mixer, where I was able to connect with administrators and further learn more about the many wonderful faculty that we have present on campus. And I also attended the CSSA Central Regional meeting or region meeting, where we discussed dealing with some of the federal funding cuts and just our plans that the different campuses have for dealing with that. In line with my usual housekeeping duties, I sent out the cabinet agenda and minutes, and I also chaired our weekly cabinet meeting, where we continue to brainstorm some plans that I have for a cabinet project. And I'm excited to see where that goes with some help of my cabinet members. All right, and then I'll go into our diversity, equity, and inclusion. So this week, she started reaching out to clubs about her Cultural Unity Showcase to confirm their attendance. That event will be taking place Thursday, March 19th from 2 to 6 p.m. in the Grand Salon. So if you are part of a club and you haven't heard back yet, then please reach out to her in that regard. She also has a meeting with the Deaf Seasonians on November 6th and is reaching out to the Black Signers Club and the Hispanic ASL group. her first Matador Conversations will be partnered with the president and the vice president, and she's in the process of planning her next one. The first one will be November 20th at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the East Conference Center in the Flint Ridge Room. And then also she's looking to, at that event, she's looking to do giveaways, have a campus safety survey, and have a QR code to some of the DEI guide and things available on the website. She's also planning a graduate workshop to increase awareness about grad school for students trying to get more awareness about CSUN identity. Okay, and then she's also exploring options. Sorry. All right, and then she's also working on a t-shirt and hoodie designs for her committee members. All right, and then onto our chair of outreach and recruitment. So this last week, they filmed the first Senate introductory video. She also attended the open house on Saturday, where she passed out AS pamphlets and got to talk to potential incoming freshmen about student leadership. Along with this, she also conducted interviews for Chief Justice, the Senator of Arts and Media, and to fill the last remaining elections committee seats. And in those interviews, she had the vice president, myself, and then also the chair of elections. She also attended the president's leadership mixer and got a chance to find sponsors for potential events. And she also reached out to all applicants to make sure that they're still interested in the leadership positions that they applied for, and will continue to schedule and plan those interviews. And she sent out her 6 offer letters for outreach and recruitment, which were the people that were in attendance today at committee. And for next week, she's planning on conducting the remaining interviews for the remaining committee and Senate seats. And she also is planning her first committee meeting, which should be happening either this week or next week. All right, and then on to our chair of elections report. This week, she met with James to discuss her kickoff event for elections. Unfortunately, this week, she wasn't able to have her committee meeting as several members were not able to attend, so she couldn't get quorum. She's also continuing to brainstorm on possible spring vendors and is looking for sponsors for these events. She further solidified the roles within her committee by assigning members to outreach and marketing, and she reached out to her MIC representative to get a list of registered clubs and organizations. And then she'll also be tabling this upcoming week to promote elections and student participation in elections. All right, and then on to our final report, Chair of Legislative Affairs. So due to an injury, they were not able to have their lobby corps meeting because they weren't able to have quorum. Although this coming week, he does have his lobby corps meeting planned, where they will discuss all their plans for the semester. We also have Big Party, which was already mentioned, but they will be tabling at that event. So if you can go, please look out for them. So he will be tabling at Big Party and gathering student input on issues for chess. He will also be attending the Faculty Senate Library Committee and the Student Homes Coalition. And he will be traveling, as the president already mentioned, for the ACUI Region 1 conference, and will be presenting on the USU Dream Center funding allocation and the efforts that AS did in regards to that. And then that's all for my report.
Yay! Are there any questions on the Chief of Staff report? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to our Chair of Finance Direct report.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone had a fun Halloween on Friday. So now start with my report. The balance account for supplemental totals as of October 31st, 2025, STAR remains at $191,351. Unassigned contingency is $575,602. Fill fund is $6,600. Clubs and orgs travel is $22,600. Some work I did over the week. I continue to review and process funding requests. I had my one-on-one meeting with President Saravia. I sent an email update to all RSO presidents regarding the delay and the extension of the 2026-2027 annual budget request form, contacted all clubs and organizations that were unable to attend the MIC Leadership Conference, and provided them with dates for the Finance 101 makeup session, which will be hosted by the Assistant Chair of Finance and myself. Lastly, I attended the Personnel Board meeting over the week. As you may all know, we will be having another Finance Committee meeting today at 1 p.m. Now moving on to the Assistant Chair of Finance's report. Over the past week, I had my one-on-one meeting with President Sarabia and attended the University Affair Committee meetings. We are continuing our work on the legislative referral regarding the subsidization of custodian fees. I also attended the cabinet meeting. In addition, I'm currently working on the presentation for the Finance 101 makeup session, which will be held on Zoom next week and on the 19th. That's all I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Are there any questions on our Chair of Finance or Assistant Chair of Finance report? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we'll move over to our Attorney General's report.
Good morning, everyone. This is my second week serving as your Attorney General, and as we enter week 11 of the semester, I want to start by expressing how grateful I am for the opportunity to represent and serve this body. Earlier this week, I met with Vice President Miniano Aragon and Chief of Staff Boberg to discuss expectations for this role and how I envision helping strengthen the structure and professionalism of our Senate. I also attended various committee meetings, such as internal affairs, university affairs, and cabinet meetings, where I have been primarily observing the dynamics of the committees for the time being. I've also been taking time to learn our procedures, codes, and responsibilities so that I could best uphold the standards of this position. While I still am learning the finer details of parliamentary procedure, I'm currently reading the book, and Senate operations, my commitment is to ensure that our meetings remain fair, organized, and respectful. And I'm also here as a resource and point of support. So if you guys ever have any questions about the process or expectations, please reach out. We're all here to grow and serve together. And then finally, I kind of just want to remind everyone about professional dress and attendance policies, which I'm sure you guys all know. These are expectations that have been laid out since the beginning. But as it is my second week, I just want to let you guys know, just to communicate with me ahead of time if you expect to be late or absent. And I'll further reiterate this via email. And thank you. I'm actually really excited to continue to learn, contribute, and uphold the values that make the Senate strong.
Yay. Are there any questions on the Attorney General's report? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to our External Affairs Committee and our Chair Gavino's report.
Hey, good morning, everyone. We did not have an external affairs meeting last week because of the leadership mixer, but that was still a good opportunity. All of the committee members were out there to meet all the administrators and all the leaders in the school. We're continuing to work on our referrals. We have a few more this week that we're introducing. I will not be attending the meeting. Vice Chair Garcia will be leading it, but it will be at 4 p.m. in the USU Executive Boardroom on Wednesday. So hope to see you there. Thanks.
Are there any questions on the External Affairs report? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to our Internal Affairs Committee and our Chair Basilio's report.
Good morning, everyone. As always, we had good discussion last week. On our increase in senator stipends referral, the committee has begun exploring alternatives for a stipend increase, including alternative perks like parking passes. We're also doing this while keeping in mind that there needs to be a tracking system that also needs to be implemented for the stipend and or perks if a student leader drops in the middle of their term. For the standardized follow-through referral, resolutions have been worked on, and we're waiting for a more satisfied finality to them. We will now move on to looking through recommendations passed by the previous board to continue our progress with this referral. For the Meet with AS Departments referral, the committee has been assigned to the various AS departments to meet with them in order to understand their function and better advocate for their needs and wants. And lastly, we voted on the codes as amended for the appointment, biographies, and revisiting Council of Chairs codes that are on the agenda, as you can see.
Okay, is there any discussion? Excuse me. Is there any discussion to approve the Council of Chairs Code? Vice President Jimena Aragon.
I move to amend the Council of Chairs Code under responsibilities number 5, statement C, to read instead, the chair and/or vice chair's feedback shall be submitted to the chair of outreach and recruitment, who shall compile the information to make a recommendation to the president before the applicant's nomination is sent to Senate for approval.
Thank you. Is there a second on the amendment? Senator Basilio. Vice President Jimena Aragon.
So the main thing about this statement is that the person who is in charge of making the recommendations for appointments to the president is the chair of outreach and recruitment. That just makes the process easier. That also like centralizes the way that we standardize our process of hiring someone or getting them onboarded. So it would just, basically that's what already happens, but that would just be the way to codify that.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Senator Basilio.
I was just gonna say if there's any way we can pull that up so that people know what we're talking about.
Thank you, Madeline.
Yeah, can I speak?
Okay, Vice President Jimena Aragon.
Right now, the way it reads is that the feedback shall be submitted to the president. So just to centralize the media of communication that the president will get, that feedback shall be submitted to the chair of outreach and recruitment, and then they will compile all of that information to be sent out to the president. So the feedback will still be submitted, but it's just in a different like way of communication, which once again, that's the way we have been doing it so far.
Thank you. Are there any is there any further discussion? Okay, seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of approving this amendment to line item 5C, please raise your hand. Okay, all those opposed? All those abstained? Okay, thank you. This amendment passes. Is there any further discussion on the Council of Chairs Code? Vice President Jimena Aragon.
So before I go into putting out my amendment, I do want to make sure that I clarify this. So for statement number 6, we are including or we are adding and reviewing the appointment biography questions. So the chair of outreach and recruitment meets with, in this case, their committee to make the interview questions. So there's a document that with questions that we always make to the applicants. However, now that we are codifying the biographies, that is like a separate bank of questions. So that's just for clarifying. And my amendments is just in terms of what the timelines look like. So I move to amend the Council of Chairs Code, the Council of Chairs Code under responsibilities 6 to strike through B to now read B. The final version of the biography questions shall be approved on the last meeting of the semester. C. The final version of the interview questions shall be approved on the last meeting of the year.
Thank you. Is there a second? Senator Romano?
So,
No, go ahead, go ahead.
so once again, that's just how we have been doing that in the past. So each year, the chair of outreach and recruitment has the time to finalize those interview questions, and then the next administration just has those questions to go right immediately into the interviews. However, I do believe that, so that's why it's better to just approve it by the end of the year instead of by the end of each semester. And then in terms of the biography questions, I do think that's beneficial to review them at the end of each semester, just to make sure that we are addressing the questions that the Senate usually has about those applicants.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Senator Gabino?
It's always been codified that the chair of outreach and recruitment finalizes interview questions for the following administration.
Yeah, that has been codified on the chair of, since the chair of personnel and communications code.
Are there any further questions? Senator Diaz-Gomez?
Permission to be recognized.
Granted. Senator Gabino?
But it's currently codified every semester, not every year.
Yeah, so once we go into the chair of outreach and recruitment, we'll change that amendment too.
So as it currently is, the chair of, say, an administration comes in and then they appoint a chair of outreach and recruitment, they'd be able to maybe review the interview questions and maybe even change them or create new ones at the end of the fall semester for the spring semester as currently written, correct?
That's right, if the Council of Chairs meet. So the main thing is Council of Chairs just meet monthly per the code. Last year, you knew like they met once a semester. So that's why, like in terms of the timeline, I don't think the semester would meet so often to get that approved.
Are there any further questions? Okay, seeing Vice President Jimena Aragon.
Sorry, but the way I also envision it is if the chair of personnel and of outreach and recruitment deems it important to bring back the questions to the interview, I think that can always be done to the Council of Chairs. However, I do think that standardizing this makes sure that we always review those questions, but that does not mean that the chair of outreach and recruitment cannot bring it up before the end of the year.
Are there any further questions? Okay, seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of approving the amendment, please raise your hand. Thank you. All those opposed? All those abstained? Okay, the amendment passes. Moving on to the original motion, is there any further discussion on the Council of Chairs code? Senator Gabino.
Yeah, under responsibilities, under voting members, number 1B, it states during the last Senate meeting of the semester, the report shall be included in the agenda. Could the chair just clarify if that's voted on by the entire Senate, if that's an information item, if that's a discussion item?
Go ahead, Vice President Jimena Aragon.
So the way it works is you do not need to be voted on. It does not, the report does not have to be voted on. It's just submitted to the chair of the Council of Chairs. So we are just setting up the standard of including that report within your Senate report. So when we go into this report, it's like a motion out of committee, but instead of being like a motion out of committee that needs to be voted on, it would just be included as an attachment. So you would just go over it in the last Senate meeting of the semester. And once again, this is just for transparency's sakes on what happened with each of the referrals, and so that the next semester's committee can come in knowing what happened and then maybe things that could be brought up once again or things that maybe did not work.
Are there any further questions?
Okay. If there is no further discussion, Vice President Jimenez Aragon.
So would you think, Senator Gavino, to be beneficial to include that it wouldn't be voted on just as an information item or as an attachment?
Um, no, I think it's clear.
Are there any other questions or discussion items? Senator Basilio.
I almost forgot, but the very last addition that we made in the meeting section, it reads right now, this committee shall meet at least once a month. Additional meetings shall be called by the president or vice president as requested by the committee. This is what the committee decided on, but there was like back and forth during internal to see if the previous way it was worded was better. And I'm looking for that statement right now, so give me a second. I will speak again. But if anybody remembers what that statement was in my committee, please say that right now. But I'm looking for it, I promise.
Okay, just a point of information, everyone. We do need to end this meeting at 11, and we have 20 more minutes and a few more discussion items. Senator Basilio.
I found it. Okay. So the other way it was worded was additional meetings shall be called by the president or vice president as requested. Wait, sorry. Additional meetings shall be called as deemed necessary by the committee, president, or vice president. That was the previous way it was worded. So if anybody here likes that statement better, please say that during discussion. But if not, this is also fine, like I said.
Is there any further discussion? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move on to vote. All those in favor of approving the Council of Chairs Code with the said amendments, please raise your hand. Thank you. All those opposed? All those abstained? Okay, the the code passes. We will now move over to the approval of the Chair of Outreach and Recruitment Code as amended. Is there any discussion on the code? Senator Basilio.
Hello, everyone. So this was done so that both codes, because they're so interlinked, so that they match and that the wording matches. Again, it's the biographies portion and also their work and their contribution to the Council of Chairs. So that is the only changes here. Nothing else was touched.
Vice President Jimenez Aragon.
So then with the amendments that we had previously, we would need to amend this code under 9. Yeah. So I moved to amend the Chair of Outreach and Recruitment Code to strike through B to read instead B, the final version of the interview questions shall be approved on the last Council of Chairs meeting of the year. C, the final version of the biography questions shall be approved on the last Council of Chairs meeting of the semester.
Thank you. Is there a second on the amendment? Senator Diaz-Gomez. Is there any discussion? Senator Cabrera Figueroa.
Yeah, I would like to note we could disregard the C that you had added just because it is under 12BI. Work with the Council of Chairs to review the appointment biography questions at the end of each term.
Okay, so then I would suggest let's go into voting for this amendment to not pass it.
Okay, all those in favor of approving the amendment to line item C and B, please raise your hand. Thank you. All those opposed? Okay, this amendment fails. Is there any further discussion? Vice President Emiliano Aragon.
I move to amend the the Chair of Outreach and Recruitment Code to strike through under Responsibilities 9, Section B, to now read B. The final version of the interview questions shall be approved on the last Council of Chairs meeting of the year.
Thank you. Is there a second? Senator Diaz-Gomez, is there any discussion? Okay, seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of amending line item 9B, please raise your hand. Thank you. This passes unanimously. Is there any further discussion on the outreach and recruitment? Vice President Emiliano Aragon.
So as it's stated right now, so it says that the Chair of Outreach and Recruitment shall work with the Council of Chairs to review the appointment biography questions at the end of each term, which that is at the end of each semester, so that should be good.
Okay, thank you. Is there any further discussion? Okay, seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of approving the Chair of Outreach and Recruitment Code as amended with the amendment to 9B, please raise your hand. Thank you. This passes unanimously. We will now move into University Affairs Committee report with our Chair Umana.
Good morning, Matadors. Hope everyone is well. Let me keep my report real quick. So last Friday, I had the opportunity to meet with the Dean of University Library, Emmy Decker, as well as Justin Kowalczyk, the interim dean of the University Library, and Mike Villalobos, the guest services director. We had a meaningful discussion over one of our legislative referrals regarding club storage space, as well as strengthening the relationship between the University Library and associated students. That same day, I had a meeting with Travis Thomas, Director of Physical Plant Management, where I got to discuss with him many of the legislative referrals that are in circulation within our committee right now. We discussed items like paying custodial fees, building inspections, and we spoke further about storage space for our clubs here on campus. More updates will be provided during our next committee this week. As a reminder, University Affairs meets every Thursday at 4 p.m. in the executive boardroom. I will be sending out the agenda later on today, no later than 4. That is all for my report.
Yay, thank you. Are there any questions on Chair Umana's report? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to our AS Executive Director Allen's report, which will be given to us by Tim Shapansky.
Good morning, everyone. We'll keep this short. I just wanted to give a shout out to our committee that put on the AS Monster Bash, Hannah, James, Daniel, Kevin, Forum, and John Dobler. So we could give them a quick round of applause for that event on Thursday. I also want to give a shout out to Kevin, Denise, and Madeline for their work on the AS Leadership Mixer that took place on Wednesday. It wouldn't be a report if I didn't say go Dodgers, so go Dodgers. Woo. So that's what our executive director would give us. And just a quick update, we are currently in the process of our Children's Center audit for the 24-25 fiscal year. So we should be submitting that shortly. And I hope y'all have your pajamas ready early because of how dark it gets so soon. So who wants to go to bed early? So that is all I have. Have a good day and a good rest of your week.
Thank you. Are there any questions on the Executive Director's report? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to our University Advisor Butler's report.
Good morning. Today, the MIC will be hosting a Dia de los Muertos celebration. We have tamales, sugar skulls, marigolds, 11 to 2. Stop by. Tomorrow is our time management workshop being hosted by the Career Center in the Ventura Room from 12 to 1. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions on the University Advisor's report? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move past unfinished business into new business. Is there a motion to approve the appointments? Senator Basilio.
I move to approve line items A1 through, sorry, 6. I can't read Roman numerals, guys. For outreach and recruitment committee members.
Thank you. Is there a second? Senator Dominguez, is there any discussion on the committee appointments? Okay, seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of approving the outreach and recruitment committee appointments, please raise your hand. Yay, this passes unanimously. Congratulations to all of our appointees. You are officially members of our Outreach and Recruitment Committee. Moving on to line item B, to allocate $2,000 from the Philanthropy Fund to the American Society of Mechanical Engineers and Department of Mechanical Engineering for the Go Baby Go event. Is there a motion? Senator Dominguez.
I move to allocate $2,000 from the Philanthropy Fund to the American Society of Mechanical Engineers and Department of Mechanical Engineering for the Go Baby Go event.
Amazing. Is there a second? Senator Diaz Gomez, is there any discussion? Okay, seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of approving $2,000 from the Philanthropy Fund to go to the Go Baby Go? No. Senator Basilio?
Do we need to read the breakdown or not really? Because it's just one item.
It's just one item.
Okay.
Yay. Senator Cabrera Figueroa?
Cool. Sorry, just because we have like a few people in the audience, I just want to do like a quick recap on what the event itself is, so that they're also aware, if that's all right.
Yeah. So I can read out what it is. It is the Go Baby Go event is a national volunteer-driven program that modifies ride-on toy cars to provide mobility solutions for children with physical and developmental disabilities. So the $2,000 will help cover tools and supplies to construct four toy cars for children with disabilities. Are there any further questions? Okay, seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of approving $2,000 from the Philanthropy Fund to the Go Baby Go event, please raise your hand. Okay, this passes unanimously. Thank you so much. We will now move into our information items, starting with our engineering and computer science Senate report with Senator Dominguez.
Hello, everyone. I will keep this brief. For my senator event, I am reworking it as originally it was going to be a town hall, but recently my college hosted a town hall, so that would be kind of redundant. So we are reworking it. So it is actually beneficial to my constituents. For my personal project, I'm also changing it, as the original one was a bit time consuming for the time we have left. And so I am working with VP Jimena Aragon to switch it up and be something that still aligns with the things I'm interested. I was recently appointed to a search committee for the Senior Director of University Advising. I am very happy to be given the opportunity, and we are currently doing good work on that. And throughout September, I was in multiple events, host or tabling for AS. Well, some of them being the Pride coming, and then also for the AS open house or the season open house. So that was really great to be able to talk to or interested students. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions on our senator's report? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to Senator Vicente's report, which can be read out by me, seeing as she is absent. Oh. just very briefly, she was talking about how she met with the director of freshman success and discussed plans on her personal project. She will also be talking to our executive director to discuss plans on making collaboration opportunities with the University 100 level courses. She attended internal affairs and has been communicating with the RHA president in regards to the resolution that she was assigned. And she will continue to meet with the director of freshman success to continue the discussion of her plans, as well as the collaboration with University 100 courses. And that's about it. If anyone has any questions, you guys can reach out to Senator Vicente herself, or you guys can read out her report. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to our graduate Senator Main's report, which will be read out by Vice President Geminiano Aragon.
So Akshay states, good morning, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. I recently completed my onboarding and officially started my office hours last week. During this time, I met with my co-senator to discuss about the upcoming Senate event and began developing initial ideas for my personal project. I also had a one-on-one meeting with the vice president to provide updates on both the event and my project. Additionally, I attended my second standing committee meeting last week, where we discussed about the approval of the Council of Chairs Code and the proposed referral increase in senator stipends. Lastly, I'd like to remind everyone that we'll be hosting our graduate student mixer tomorrow from 4:30 to 7 p.m. in the Thousand Oaks room at the USU. We also have food and beverages, and I encourage you all to stop by and engage with the graduate student community. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions on Senator Main's report? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move past discussion items, past legislative referrals, because I did not receive any this weekend. Into announcements. Are there any announcements from the board? Senator Arias Gomez?
Just a quick little reminder, my event is this week. So if you are able to stop by, also I will be emailing, I believe I have emailed everyone to, if they are available to come. You most likely will meet maybe people from your major-based colleges, and it would be a fun opportunity to come get a donut, make a new friend, and then, yeah.
Thank you. Senator Cabrera Figueroa.
Cool. So hopefully some of you were able to make it to Bike Fest yesterday. I was only able to make it a short time, but thank you if you were able to make it. If not, next year I expect to see you there. As mentioned earlier by James, and also why I'm wearing this shirt, thank you to our Attorney General for mentioning proper attire. I have opted otherwise because tomorrow is our very last day to vote for the special election regarding Prop 50. Regardless of where your stance is on this vote, tomorrow's the last day. Your only options at this moment are drop off or in-person voting. They are available on campus right by, I believe, F5 parking, G6 parking lot. So if you go up by the SRC, walk straight up, you should find it. Perfect. And then the other thing I wanted to announce too is our Model UN team at CSUN will be traveling to Washington, D.C. this Thursday. They will be competing nationally against several other schools. Our school also does have a history of several other several victories and consecutive accomplishments. So we hope to continue that legacy.
Thank you, Senator Basilio.
Right. So the people that are going to be gone from Thursday to Monday are myself, our Attorney General, Senator Cabrera Figueroa, and also your Chair of Outreach and Recruitment, Gupta. So we won't be here. Sorry. But wish us luck.
We wish you all the best and please bring home a lot of awards. Are there any other questions or announcements? Okay.
Chair of Finance Director.
Women's rugby is having their first at-home game on Saturday at 11 a.m. at the North Field. Please be there. I'll be there. Hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other announcements? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to final roll call.
Vice President Emiliano Aragon,
Here.
Senator Abrams,
Here.
Senator Arias Gomez,
Here.
Senator Atias,
Here.
Senator Basilio,
Here.
Senator Cabrera Figueroa,
Here.
Senator Contreras,
Here.
Senator Cunanan,
Here.
Senator Dominguez,
Here.
Senator Garcia, Senator Gavino,
Here.
Senator Kachidia,
Here.
Senator Kodka,
Here.
Senator Mane, Senator Quiroga,
Here.
Senator Ramirez,
Here.
Senator Umana,
Here.
and Senator Vicente.
Okay, thank you. I adjourn this meeting at 11:01 a.m. Enjoy the rest of your week, baddies.